everybody, my name is King Nooseme. A few weeks ago, I asked you guys what episodes of Goosebumps you guys would like to see me talk about. You guys voted for the trilogy. I've kind of been hinting towards the trilogy video for a long time now. It's one of the most recommended Goosebumps series of episodes that I get, besides Slappy, but I already made that video. And for those of you guys that don't know, the trilogy is a mini-series that lives within the Goosebumps TV series. And unlike every other episode of Goosebumps, these episodes don't have books connected to them. So it's a series original to the show. And you can really tell they had a lot of fun making these episodes. It was at a time where Goosebumps didn't have any more books to make episodes on, so they decided to just go off and do their own thing while R.L. Stine wrote a few more. Today we're going to be talking about 3 episodes: Squeal of Fortune, Strike 3, You're Doomed, and Escape from Karlsville. Each episode stars a different protagonist, but all of them are connected through this model town called Karlsville, where spooky shenanigans happen. Because it's Goosebumps, so spooky things have to happen. So everybody sit down, relax, let's quit yapping and get on to the video.
I want money.
Squeal of Fortune is definitely the most popular and most referenced of the 3 episodes. Probably because it has a nightmare-inducing scene that terrified any kids that had the displeasure of witnessing it, or it's the first of the 3. I don't know. But we start this episode in a strange place. It looks like your typical old town, but there seems to be stuff just littered everywhere. And after a nice look of the town, we get to meet this guy who introduces us to Carlsville.
Karlsville is open. Time to play.
This guy is Karl, and he's going to be the main antagonist for these episodes. He owns Karlsville, and he controls all the people that live there, too. And he looks all glazed over and shiny because he's a doll, and this is a model town. And next we get to meet the main characters of these episodes, starting with Jessica Walters, who can also be seen as Amy's sister Sarah in Night of the Living Dummy 2, as well as Todd Erickson and his brother Matthew Erickson. Todd and Matthew are having a yard sale. They're trying to sell some mint condition sports cards. Well, that one's ruined. Todd! Everything seems to be going pretty well for them until Jessica walks up, and they scramble to hide all their stuff from her. For some reason. We very quickly learn that Jessica is a little bit of a haggler. At first she comes looking for the sports cards, but they lie to her and tell her,
"We already sold all the cards."
But since they're out of cards, maybe she can just buy the desk that they're sitting behind.
The desk isn't for sale.
Those boys ain't giving her a damn thing. That is until their mom shows up.
Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Mrs. Erickson.
And with their mom around, the boys finally give up the goods and show Jessica their deck of cards.
But no deals.
She picks one out and decides to give it a little sniff. For some reason, I don't know why her first instinct is to smell the card. I guess some cards can smell nice, like if you open a new pack of Pokemon cards. She just so happens to smell strawberries on the cards and knows that maybe these cards aren't as mint as Matthew claims they are.
I'll give you $2 for it.
Matthew thinks this offer is outrageous.
This card is a collectible.
Buddy, $2 is actually really nice for a card. Most cards are like 40 cents, maybe. Although I am thinking about Pokemon cards. I don't really know how sports cards work, so I could be very wrong about that estimate. Matthew almost convinces Jessica that the cards are worth more than $2, but
You only paid Bobby Staley $1 for it.
Todd?
his brother rats him out. Oh, I know Matthew was just pissed at him when he said that. So Matthew gives her the cards for $2, and I wish the transaction ended there, but oh no, Jessica's a haggler, remember? Since the boys don't have change for a 20,
The only other bill I have is, well, it's just a 1.
they'll have to take the 1. Ooh, I know that sucks. Jessica takes the cards home and puts it in with the rest of her valuables, while this banger of a song plays. Wait, is she day trading? There's no way she's over 18. Jessica's brother Sam comes in and asks to borrow some money so he can buy their parents an anniversary gift. But we know how Jessica feels about money. She tells her brother maybe if he didn't spend his money on games, candy, and toys, he would save up some to buy them a gift. So obviously the answer is no.
Of course not. I never give up a good business opportunity.
She decides to cut Sam a business deal. Then she starts talking about percentages and interest rates and blah, 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 blah.
Forget it. I'll make him a keychain.
I don't blame you, brother. Fun fact, her brother Sam is played by Gil Filar. I think it's Gil, maybe it's Jill. Whose sister Maya Filar played Tasha in the Calling All Creeps episode of Goosebumps. Check this video out if you haven't seen it. Right as Sam leaves the room, her mom comes in and tells her that she has to clean the attic.
Mom, I don't want to spend my whole afternoon in some creepy old attic.
And no one wants to clean a dirty attic all day, so she refuses to do it. So her mom threatens to just give her allowance to her brother Sam. So obviously she cleans the creepy old attic. Dude, she must be so easy to convince. Just throw money at her and she'll probably do anything you want. As she's cleaning the attic, she bumps into this model town. The same model town we saw in the opening, Karlsville. She calls her mom to the attic to look at it while Karl himself tries to not lose his mewing streak. Her mom somehow didn't know that there was a model town in the attic and just gives it to Jessica for free.
Can I have it? Sure. Looks like fun.
Fun? We're not here to have fun. We're here to make profit. Sell it, baby.
I'll sell it and make some money.
I was kidding. I love the scene. You can tell that they obviously green screened the town in. What would we do without Goosebumps jank? Jessica's mom refuses to let her sell it though, and she makes her share the town with her brother. Just then, Jessica gets a phone call, but not from their home phone. She's getting a call from a phone box in the model town. She simply touches the phone box and gets sucked into the town. Jessica answers the phone to who else but Karl on the other side. He fills her in on where she's at, and he tells her that this town has a lot of opportunities for her. And oh boy, does she like opportunities. Jessica takes a second to walk around the empty town and look for this opportunity Karl was telling her about, but she doesn't see anyone or anything. There is no one walking around. There's no sounds, only the sound of the wind. And this loud ass music that they're playing. And Karl. Karl introduces himself as somewhat of a businessman. I mean, he owns the whole town after all. And he needs a business partner, somebody who loves money. Jessica's a little hesitant at first, but come on, she can't turn down a good money-making opportunity. He points her to one of the most profitable businesses ever. The beverage business. He wants her and this girl named Nikki to sell lemonade. Jessica hates this idea at first, but Karl is just using this as a test to see how she'll do at selling lemonade before moving her up to bigger and better things. And he introduces her to his very own lemonade.
With Carl's lemonade.
It's my own.
What the hell? His lemonade comes with a jingle? You know what? That's pretty cool. Apparently Karl's lemonade has crack or something in it because when people get their first taste of it, they can't resist to buy more. It's almost like they're addicted to it. Jessica agrees to do it if she gets 50% of the cut. 50%! But money is no object to Karl, so he takes the deal. Karl bends down to Nikki and tells her that Jessica is a very smart businesswoman and she is now in charge. Before Karl leaves though, he warns the girls to not raise the price of his lemonade because he doesn't want to be accused of hiking up the prices in his own town. And he wishes the girls good luck and quite literally turns up the heat. And now with the temperature so hot, it's quite easy to sell some lemonade. Their first customer finds the lemonade to be so cheap and delicious that she buys 3. And by the second customer, Jessica is already doing shady shit.
Don't give it up. Just halfway.
She didn't even make it to $5 before giving people the Willy Wonka experience. Is that joke dated now? Do you guys remember that? It happened like a few months ago. Jessica tells the second customer how much the lemonade will cost, and then he says something that he will soon regret.
Would be a bargain at twice the price.
Oh no. So obviously the next customer that comes up, she sells it to him for $2, and then he says,
You could charge a fortune.
Nikki tries to warn Jessica about raising the price of the lemonade, but Jessica doesn't care. And now she's selling the lemonade for $3 a piece. And not only that, she pours more water into the lemonade, which dilutes the lemonade a little bit, but gives them more to sell. And she does this all in the name of business, as the temperatures just get hotter and hotter. Soon the whole town is lined up around her lemonade stand, and they're basically begging to have some of that sweet, delicious lemon nectar. As more people show up, the hotter it gets. And the people start to get a little bit more and more violent. But Jessica doesn't care, as long as she's getting that beautiful cash. And during all the chaos, Jessica hides the last little bit of lemonade they have and tells everybody that they only have 1 cup. And it'll go to the highest bidder.
I'll give you $10. Make it 20.
People immediately start to offer double what they're already paying for this lemonade. And they start to basically break down the table. And in all this chaos, they find out she was lying.
She was squeezing us.
Obviously, they don't like that she was scamming them out of their money, and Karl doesn't like that she rose the prices. So she immediately gets her punishment. What? She turns into a pig? I thought maybe they'd like chase her around a little bit around the town and like maybe scare her just a little bit, like, you know, like maybe like burn her at a stake like a witch or something. I didn't think they'd go turn her into a pig. Holy shit, that's a lot better. Didn't expect that at all. Nikki did warn Jessica that if she didn't listen to Karl, then she would have to pay the consequences.
You're nothing but a greedy little pig.
Before running away, Jessica, of course, grabs the money first. Can't do anything without the money. And then decides to book it. Jessica tries to blame everything on Karl, saying that he set her up and made her do all this, and that the townsfolk should be mad at him, not her. But I don't think they believe her. Karl! They call for Karl, and like Batman, he appears on the roof.
Get the pig.
That's not good. This caused everybody to mob Jessica. They chase her around the corner and then somehow don't see her hiding behind this trash can. Like, seriously, guys? Are you kidding me? Well, almost nobody.
I guess our little partnership must be dissolved.
Man, this guy really is Batman. How does he keep doing that? He tells Jessica that she's being punished for hiking up the prices and hogging all the profit. Hogging as in, you know, pig. Get it? Hogging the profit. She's hogging the profit. It's funny. It's a funny joke. And he shows her what she really is. She tries her best to escape, but like every other pig, she can't resist a little bit of mud, which gives the townsfolk enough time to find her.
There she is!
And surprisingly, she uses the money as a distraction to get away. She finds her way back to the phone booth and tries to call 911, but
This number is no longer in service.
oh yeah, Karl runs everything here. So obviously 911 isn't going to work. Finally, Jessica decides to call her home phone, but she forgot that she left it in the attic with her. So nobody's there to answer the phone. And as she's waiting for it to ring, the townsfolk beat in the phone booth and pull her out.
Hello?
Until her brother Sam saves the day. Now that she's back to normal and out of Karlsville, her and her brother take the model town out and throw it in the trash. But Sam thinks it's kind of cool and he kind of wants to keep it. Oh, if only he knew. And for one final transaction, Jessica agrees to sell Sam the model town. Jesus, even after turning into a pig, she literally has learned nothing.
You sell it back to me. You said you needed money for Mom's present, right? But I'll give you $50 for it.
Looks like she did learn her lesson after all. And I'd like to say the episode ends there, but oh no, we wouldn't have a trilogy if the story ended there. Later that night, Matthew and Todd are hanging out in the street when they spot the model town on the side of the road. So they pick up the model town and they take it home with them. And the episode ends with Karl saying,
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
and that's just part one of the trilogy. Like I said earlier, this is probably the most popular episode of the three because of the really good pig costume. And the body horror of a girl getting turned into pig just stuck with kids for a long time. That part is so memorable that you guys in my comments don't even know the episode name, but you guys ask me to talk about the episode where the girl gets turned into a pig. That's all you guys ever say. And with her being trapped in a pig's body and the intense music and the people literally mobbing her, this episode can be genuinely freaky, especially for people that are like claustrophobic. And this episode set the bar really high for the rest of the trilogy. I hope they don't ruin the trilogy by having the next episode be stupid and wacky.
You prefer the squeeze play or the sacrifice?
Okay, saying this episode is stupid and wacky is a bit harsh, but I didn't say it wasn't fun. It's definitely one of the goofiest Goosebumps episodes, period. But some of you guys have told me how genuinely scary this episode was to you as a kid. So I'm pretty excited to check it out. This episode starts in Matthew's room and it looks like he's getting ready for a baseball game. His mom comes in and tells him it's time to go, but before he leaves, he notices a baseball field on the model town of Karlsville and fantasizes about making a game-winning home run.
It's gone! The Tigers win the championship!
But mid-celebration, his mom walks in.
Yeah.
Yikes, embarrassing. And apparently in this scene, you can see multiple Goosebumps books, especially on the bookshelf in his room. But I rewinded the episode multiple times and zoomed in and stuff. I can't tell what these books are. I literally can't see the name or a cover of any of them. So let me know what you know about this scene in the comments below. Later, during the baseball game, we see the exact scenario that Matthew was fantasizing in his room earlier. There are 2 players on the base, there are 2 outs, but sadly, Matthew isn't the one batting. And he's not very good at baseball either. He's so bad that he hasn't played a single game this season. And he wasn't going to play one either until the coach for the other team spoke up. The other team coach points out that there's a rule that every kid needs to play in at least 1 game each season, or the team will have to forfeit the last one.
Our job is to provide an opportunity for all the boys. What?
You know, this coach kind of seems like a decent guy. So Matthew's coach has to let him play in this inning, or they'll have to forfeit the game completely. He gives Matthew a bat and some advice before walking up to the plate.
Close your eyes. Maybe you'll get lucky.
Wow, this dude's a piece of shit. But sadly... Matthew strikes out and loses the game for the team. And he really beats himself up about it for the rest of the day, even not eating dinner, so he can go to his room and mope around. His dad comes to his room and tries to cheer him up by telling him how proud he is for even trying to do something different. And he invites him to come down to the living room to watch a movie with him and the rest of the family. But Matthew just says,
No, I think I'm just gonna stay here.
but before his dad walks out, he tells him that there are things you are good at. Baseball might not be one of them, but baseball's not the most important thing in the world. And that's okay. And then right after he leaves... What the hell? That tripped my brain out. And before he knows it, Matthew is sucked down into Karlsville, where he meets the owner of the town, Karl. Karl asks him to be on his baseball team. Well, more like tells him that he's on the baseball team.
You ready?
Me?
And tonight's the big game, and everyone in town is coming to watch. Or maybe not. Karl hands Matthew a bat and warns him that they don't play traditional baseball here. It's more like a one-man show, and the only goal of the game is to make it to home base. But before any game can start, of course they have to play the national anthem. Slay, I guess. Now that that's out of the way, we can finally start the game. Wait, who's gonna pitch the ball to Matthew? Now that's the most menacing pitching machine I've ever seen in my life. After 2 balls whiff past him going the speed of light, the last ball is pretty much handed to him.
I can hit that.
So he smacks it out of the park. Well, almost out of the park. It actually was a pretty good hit though. Like maybe he does have some talent. Matthew finds it quite hard to make it to first base. It's almost like the base got up and is running away from him. No, wait, the base did get up and start running away from him. And the only way he makes it to first base is because he tricked it with the, nah, I'm not interested.
Made it to first.
And after the first base incident, Matthew finds out Karl doesn't have the best intentions.
You're trying to hurt me.
But he's stuck here now, and the only way to get back is to make it to home base. Next step, second base, and Matthew takes a huge lead, which was a mistake. Now he's stuck in Karl's version of a saw trap. Multiple cutouts of Matthew spring up beside him, and the pitching machine sends balls whizzing past him, knocking down the other ones. It's actually kind of crazy how a machine that's made to be incredibly accurate misses this kid multiple times. Luckily, Matthew gets out of the restraints by simply taking off his shoes, and he crawls all the way to second base, which in turn makes the pitching machine disappear. Now to make it to third, but Matthew is understandably terrified to make it to third, and he refuses to leave second base because he knows he's safe there. But this is Karlsville we're talking about, so nothing's really fair here, and Karl finds a sneaky way to get Matthew off of second base. Did he just make the base disappear? Maybe Karl will cut the kid some slack and make getting to third base pretty easy. Yeah, never mind. Matthew takes his sweet old time crossing the deathly tightrope, and I don't blame him. I mean, come on, there's lava on both sides of him, and he has to make it at least 90 feet to the next base. I'd be terrified too, don't act like you wouldn't be. And after a grueling 2.5 minutes of the episode, he finally makes it safely to third. Matthew begs Karl to just let him go home.
Sure, it's only 90 feet away. You think you can steal it?
Then Karl gives Matthew 2 plays to choose from.
You prefer the squeeze play or the sacrifice?
Matthew finds it quite weird that he's the only player on the field, so Karl decides to give him some friends. His name is Herm the Squirm. Is that what he said?
Herm the Squirm.
I think that's what he said. And Herm is here to play. Damn! But Herm isn't the only monster joining us. And his name is... I don't know. I can't hear what they call him because the music's so freaking loud. Since Matthew didn't choose a play, Karl decided to choose one for him. And it looks like Matthew is stuck in between a textbook rundown play. So Matthew is stuck in between third and home, and he has to try his best to make it around one of the monsters to get safe. But the monsters are tossing the ball back and forth and slowly inching closer towards him to get him out. And this makes it incredibly hard for him to make it to any base. Luckily for him, the catcher drops the ball. No, what the hell is that? Now that the ball has gained sentience, it tries to bite his ankles like a chihuahua, but it really sucks at it, just keeps missing. But this gives Matthew optimal time to slide into home. But because he's back home, that doesn't mean he's safe. The killer baseball comes into the real world and starts attacking Matthew. And it does so until Matthew smacks it back down into Karlsville. Then he quite literally just passes out on the bed. I don't even know how you would be able to sleep after that. The next morning, Jessica comes over to give Matthew his baseball cards back. Wait, didn't she pay for those? So aren't they like technically hers now? Also, with a closer look at the bookshelf, I still can barely tell that these are Goosebumps books. That is until she notices Karlsville. The two share their experience with Karlsville and then decide it's best if both of them go down to the garage, grab some tools, come back and destroy it. And while they do that, Matthew's little brother Todd gets some junk mail.
Todd Erickson, you're a grand prize winner.
Buddy, I think that's just junk mail. You probably didn't actually win anything. You should probably just throw that away.
Send this to Karlsville to claim your prize?
Wait, what did it say? After he gets done reading the mail, he hears noises coming from his brother's room. He goes to the model town and tosses the paper down to Karl, who's waiting down there for him.
We have a winner!
Oh great, now we have to help Todd. Escape from Karlsville starts exactly where the last episode ended. Todd is lost in Karlsville with seemingly no one in sight. Then literally out of nowhere, a parade just appears and starts marching towards him, somewhat trapping him in the middle of the road. This is when we get to see a familiar face.
You're our grand prize winner.
Okay, somebody please tell me how this guy teleports. He's a doll. I mean, I guess Slappy could also teleport, but Slappy's a dummy.
Who are you calling dummy?
Karl puts Todd in this really cool red convertible car where he gets a kiss from the queen of Karlsville, I think. I don't know who this lady is. She might be a woman that he just randomly picked up off the street. It's probably most likely what happened. Anyways, they very slowly parade Todd around town as he stays pretty oblivious to everything that's going on around him. Well, at least he's happy.
For now.
Just then, Jessica and Matthew come back with tools to destroy Karlsville. But before they Hulk smash the town, Matthew notices the junk mail on the floor, and the letter on top has Carl's face on it. Wait, didn't he toss that card down to Karl in the last episode? I think that's a minor fuck up right there. Anyways, when they see this mail, they instantly know what's going on. And just to confirm their suspicion, Jessica notices the population of Karlsville has grown by 1. Back in town, Todd is giving a speech because he won something. We don't know what he won yet, but I have a feeling he won't be making it home like the other two.
And I just hope I get home in time for dinner.
Yikes. After the speech, Karl decides to take Todd inside, and something tells me that it's not gonna be good. Inside, they go into this Willy Wonka looking room with a bunch of creepy ass dudes wearing doll masks and ponchos. Kind of reminds me of the first Purge movie. Todd once again asks what's the grand prize and if he's gonna make it home for dinner.
After you see your prize, you won't even be thinking about dinner.
That's when 2 creepy doll people start just running random tests on him. And Karl accidentally lets the grand prize slip.
Didn't I tell you? You're going to become a citizen of Karlsville.
And Todd isn't too excited about his prize.
That's it?
Which royally pisses Karl off.
Why, it's an honor.
And he talks about how expensive it is to run a parade, get a band, hang up posters. But wait, don't you own the town and control all the people? Wouldn't it be like free? Karl decides now is the perfect time to unveil the Plasto Blaster.
What's a Plasto Blaster?
Brother, it's called a Plasto Blaster. I think it shoots plastic. Such a Dr. Doofenshmirtz ass name too. Matthew and Jessica try to find a way back into Karlsville. At first they try using the way that they got in there the first time. Jessica touches the telephone booth, but nothing happens. And Matthew accidentally got sucked in when he tossed a ball into the baseball field, but he doesn't want to try that one again. This is when Jessica has a pretty smart idea. She turns the population knob into 102, which instantly sucks her down into the town. And Matthew follows quickly behind. And a quick little Easter egg right here, the shop behind them says the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, which is an obvious reference to the book and episode with the same name. It's also one of my favorite books and episodes. And apparently you can see this town in Squeal of Fortune somewhere, but I noticed it in this episode first, so that's where I'm gonna mention it. Now it's time for them to find Todd and help him escape. And as they do that, Karl demonstrates to Todd what the Plasto Blaster is going to do on this bowl of fruit. And it finally all clicks for Todd.
You're gonna do that to me?
Of course.
Now Karl does the big reveal and reveals to Todd that everyone around him is dolls. And very soon, he will be one too. Then freaky doll people strap Todd down to a gurney as he screams for help. And then shove the Plasto Blaster into his face. Then they eerily cheer plastic. Karl starts the process to get the machine ready, but then suddenly stops and says,
He didn't choose his color.
His color for what? No, seriously, his color for what? What are you talking about? Karl then brings out this giant light with a bunch of filters on it and makes Todd choose his favorite color. But all Todd can think about is freedom.
Why can't you just let me go?
Yellow.
The other two follow a trail of confetti and parade litter all the way back to the factory, where they find the parade dolls stuck where they are, cursed to clap until they're told to stop. Which is pretty freaky for me. It's probably the freakiest part of these episodes. They sneak around to the side of the building and they find a small hobbit tunnel that's just built into the factory for some reason, and they use this to get inside. Todd chose green. I still don't know what this color is for. Then he tries his best to bribe Karl, but Karl isn't doing all this for money.
I want power.
He gives a very narcissistic speech about how he's the king of Karlsville and how he loves to be in control of everyone and everything. And he also likes to torture kids for fun because to him,
It passes the time.
the other two find the room where Karl and Todd are. Karl is getting the last steps ready to turn Todd into a doll as the other two scramble to find a way to stop him. Luckily, they find the wires that are connected to the machine. And before Karl presses the button, he has to stop and make sure of something.
Did I tell you this won't hurt?
No.
Good. Because it does.
Stop it!
Damn, dude, the kid's already terrified. Just cut him some slack. I don't think he deserved all that. And as Todd screams for help, Karl presses the button to turn him into a doll. But before the laser can fire, Jessica just starts ripping out cords and pipes, successfully stopping the Plasto Blaster. They grab Todd and they quickly try to escape outside, with Karl right on their tails. Wait a minute, what are their parents doing during all this? Aren't they a little concerned that their kids are missing?
Where are the kids?
They're playing with that miniature toy town, I believe.
I guess that makes sense. Jessica thinks that maybe if they call home again, then they can escape, because that's the way she got home herself. But when they get to the phone booth,
Need to make a call.
somebody beat them to it. Next, they run to the baseball field in hopes that touching home plate will take them back home, because that's how Matthew got sent back home. But of course, Karl beats them there. And on the way to the baseball field, they started to get pursued by a bunch of creepy doll people. And now they are backed into a corner. Side note, I love that they used twins for this scene. It's almost like they're manufactured dolls and they just kept making the same model. It's a very clever and nice touch that you probably missed when you watched the episode. Just then, Miss Erickson starts vacuuming Matthew's room, which pisses Karl off for some reason.
What is that annoying racket?
And while this is happening, the kids get captured by the doll people, but they don't make it far before Miss Erickson literally sucks all of them up.
They must be vacuuming!
Except for the kids, of course, and Karl. For plot reasons, Jessica comes up with the plan that maybe if they get sucked up by the vacuum, that's their chance to escape. So they chase the vacuum all the way to Main Street and try to jump in as Karl does his cool guy walk towards them. Luckily for the kids, it worked. The kids rush to get the adults out of the room and quickly scavenge through the model town to try to find Karl's doll so that they can dispose of him for good. And it must have taken them a while too, because we cut to nighttime where they're burning the town in a fire. The kids aren't certain, but they think that they found Karl's doll because, well,
Looks like his clothes.
sounds good enough to me. There's a head in the fire that looks similar to Karl already, so maybe they already burned it. They take the doll and toss him in the fire, but not before they say a quippy one-liner.
Next time, pick on someone your own size.
After that, the camera pans to the vacuum cleaner where we see a doll-sized Karl uses the pipe as a slide and maniacally laughs as the camera fades to darkness. And that's the end of the trilogy. Gotta throw in a nice Goosebumps twist at the end. I'm wondering if they wanted to bring Karl back for some episodes, or maybe they were just gonna leave it like an open-ended thing like they tend to do with these episodes. It's a super fun trilogy to watch, and it really shows off the talents of the Goosebumps writers. When they don't have a book to guide them, they still do really well. I love how Karl is easily a lovable character and also a terrible person. Daniel Cash did an amazing job at playing the lovable asshole, especially during Strike 3, You're Doomed. I know I said it's the worst of the 3 episodes, but you should definitely check that episode out to see his range of character. In that single episode, you see him play an evil mastermind, a quirky, funny commentator, and the tough-loving coach. It's all in the same episode. It's crazy. Karl is definitely one of the most underrated Goosebumps villains ever. I hardly hear him being talked about. Let me know what you think about the Goosebumps trilogy in the comments below. Also, let me know what other Goosebumps episodes you want to see me talk about. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get episodes a day early, plus some bonus content that I'm working on, I promise, and maybe some pictures of my cats here and there. Like the video if you like the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace.